Look at this. The coordination is just ridiculous, isn't it? I love it. Absolutely love it. Cheerleaders at a Ferrari Motorsport event. Epic stuff. Of course, they're used to performing in front of enormous crowds in the middle of this incredible stadium, which then has the addition of the Formula One track. This is the first racing series to take part on the track outside of a Formula One weekend. We take a slightly different route, cutting off one of the long straights and coming back in. But putting on, I think Formula One will be proud of this show.
Yeah, it looks really good.
It does indeed.
A bit of Miami, United States flavor for the race start.
Yeah, and Miami, isn't it?
Yes.
This is very Miami. We're here for it. We really are. Huge crowd down there on the grid. Look, all the teams will be getting the cars ready and the drivers won't be able to see any of this. They're down there for the opening ceremony. The people at the front are really appreciate it. The drivers, meanwhile, they'll just be getting nervous. They'll be getting hot. They're in the final stages of getting themselves into the cars and ready to go. Most of them will be strapped in now. Oh, here we go. Look, proper hair flicks. You know, none of our drivers can do. Look, come on, man, the flexibility. You know, the training that goes into this. I've seen the programs about selection. This is not easy. It is not easy, but it's a great way to kick off our racing weekend. So I say pressure building for the drivers now. The two little lines across the track there in front of you, that's the timing loop going underneath. That's what gives us the hundredths and the thousandths, which will separate these drivers as they come round for the start of the race after a recce lap. Once we got things underway, green flag will be coming up. We can't wait to get started. Here we go then. Let's get this show on the road. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are able, please stand and remove your hats for the Italian national anthem, The Brothers of Italy, and the American national anthem, The Star-Spangled Banner, performed by Daniela Crocco.
Broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
Wow, that is some way to start a weekend. Daytime fireworks in the background, an incredible show from the Miami Dolphins cheerleaders, wonderful singing of the national anthems as well. If that doesn't get you all fired up and ready to go racing, you have to get into another sport. I'm good to go. We're going to need to clear that cloud of smoke in the background before we can get the cars off the line, and there's quite a few people down on the grid as well, but it is time to get our racing underway. Helicopter flyby now as well. Stars and stripes out the side. Wonderful. We do arrange some cool things, don't we?
Yeah, very nice ceremony. Yeah, a lot of expectations from the drivers. Like you said, very nervous drivers going into that turn one. A lot of unknowns. We haven't raced here before, so a lot of things to learn in the next 30 minutes of racing.
Turn one is a bit of a funnel as well, Tony. It's a tight right-hander, you know, streaming there through turn 2 and 3. We've got a left and then a right-hander. If you're on the outside, there is the opportunity to be on the inside on the next corner. Obviously, tyres won't be bang up to temperature, but they should be close.
Yeah, we've seen with Formula 1, we've seen with our GT cars that, let's say, a section between turns 1 and 3, 1, 2, 3, is very difficult to go through these corners side by side. So, yeah, also with GT cars, you need to prepare the race car a little bit more for the fast change of direction, so you need more space, you need to use more the racetrack. It's a bit different to Formula 1, so let's see how it plays out. I think it's quite critical the first half of the lap. After we manage to go through that, then I think we are
in
quite
the clear.
good. Yeah, in the clear, but the first 5 to 6 corners, it will be very interesting to see.
Kids down on the grid as well, everybody having a good time. We're looking forward to getting started with weekend number 3 of Ferrari Challenge North America. They're clearing the grid down there. I can hear the announcement saying, get yourselves away, we're about to fire up some engines. Sonoma Raceway was where we started early in March. The beautiful rolling start of that with a slightly flatter, faster finish across the drag strip. Daytona International Speedway, legendary banking. We were 3 and 4 cars wide. Now we're at Miami Autodrome, following in the footsteps of Formula 1. Next, it's the Brickyard, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Watkins Glen, Laguna Seca, and of course Mugello for the finale at Mondiali in October. Tony, we've been talking about the outline of the track, and that's a good look at turns 1, 2, and 3. There is no let up, is there, until you get down to the straight on the run to 17? It's going to be tight until you get to the straight.
Yeah, it is true. So more or less a single line throughout this fast part of the track, and it's going to be interesting to see. I talked before the start for Johnny Kaminsky, and he was excited for the start, but like we said earlier, a lot of unknowns. He was looking forward to the race start itself. That opens an opportunity for overtaking. So let's see how aggressive is, for example, Kaminsky starting from P3.
Yeah, sure. I saw Dylan Medler actually just as he was heading to the grid. He had his race suit around his waist. He had his cool jacket on, just to try and stay cool before you get in the car. The reason they've got the cool jackets on is, oh wow, the temperatures are up from this morning. So track temperature is up at 42 Celsius now, air temperature 32. It is hot. It's properly hot. Some of the drivers had Kaminsky, actually, you mentioned Kaminsky already. Kaminsky did a race simulation in one of his final practice sessions. They said they weren't unhappy with the deck, so fingers crossed we'll see some great racing right the way through. We know they're good for 7 laps because people were setting very quick, almost taking the pole on their 5th, 6th and 7th laps. So Pirelli doing a fantastic job of providing a tyre that can put up with the incredible horsepower from these Ferrari race cars in such hot temperatures. Down on the grid somewhere is Nina Jade Paul.
Hello, thank you very much. We are just moments away from the race start here at the Miami International Autodrome Circuit, and I must say the atmosphere down here is not only electric, but it's contagious. One thing I will say, the heat is intense, and these temperatures are going to push both the Ferrari 296 Challenge cars and our drivers to the absolute limit. Now, these wonderful machines and their powerful V6 engines are built for sheer speed, so they will go well here. Tyre degradation is going to play a major role, and let's not forget the walls. They are never far like we saw this morning. every point is vital. All of our drivers we wanting to maximise today because the championship is really heating up. Now, behind the scenes, I had a little tour of Casa Ferrari and our hospitality, and I would love for you to see. Round 3 of Ferrari Challenge North America brings us to the fabulous Miami. Here we are at the iconic Hard Rock Stadium racing on the Miami International Autodrome F1 circuit. Now, we couldn't bring you to Miami without giving you a little tour of behind the scenes, starting in Casa Ferrari, the biggest Ferrari hospitality on the calendar. There's so much to experience inside Casa Ferrari, and one of the standouts is the food. The finest Italian chefs have on offer beautifully Italian cured meats, a Parmesan station, Italian coffee, delicious wood-fired pizzas. It's all on offer. Now here in Casa Ferrari there is something for everyone. If shopping is your cup of tea, it's definitely mine, then the Ferrari boutique is the place to be. Now, if pizza's not your thing and you want something a little bit more luxurious, Casa Ferrari has oysters, caviar and champagne. Once you've had your dose of exciting race action, fabulous food, stunning views and our wonderful DJ, then take a few steps to our beautiful wellness spa, where you can receive lovely massages, IV drips, hyperbaric oxygen chambers, and for the gentlemen, an Acqua di Parma shaving lounge. All a part of Ferrari's luxury services available in Casa Ferrari. And if you've got a sweet tooth like me, Casa Ferrari has you covered as well. Thank you. There's so many wonderful things to experience inside Casa Ferrari, but when you step out onto the terrace, this is what it's all about. The best views in the house.
Well, Tony, it's good to know that Nina Jade has been so busy while we've been slaving down here in the announcing booth, isn't it, you know?
Yeah, that's why she's been so happy the whole weekend. All because of Casa Ferrari.
To be fair, Casa Ferrari makes me pretty happy. We did have we can't lie, we did have a nice spot of lunch just before the show, so we're good to go. Got to be careful, can't load up too much. You don't want to go into that slump afterwards. In all seriousness, the drivers, of course, they're in full focus mode. There's plenty of good food for them to eat up there, but if you're nervous, you maybe don't want anything.
Yeah, and each driver is an individual regarding how and what to drink, how much to eat during the day, and one test is the length of today. I mean, the qualifying being so early in the morning, you need a full effort 9 a.m., but you need to be in a similar shape 6 hours later. So that's a big task also for the drivers, to use your energy wisely. Obviously, you have friends, family, sponsors supporting you, but at the same time, some of the drivers, they need their own time. They need to prepare for the race start, concentration, be in their own environment where others don't bother you. So it's a mixture of how to use your energy and to be in a top form when it matters.
It is difficult. Switching on and switching off again during the course of a day is exhausting. It's easier just to do it once, isn't it? This is the event, I do it and I'm done. But early doors for all of them. Dylan Medler just squinting his eyes there and getting himself checking every last little thing on the dashboard. Champion last year, of course. Oh, so this is Roberta Perina. Fantastic to see everybody down there, umbrellas up, look, the little silver things across the windscreens, and everybody just trying to stay chilled when really there is zero chill to be had when you get this close to the start of a race. So if you've missed the qualifying show earlier on today, we got Dylan Medler, our current champion, to take us around a lap. So let's take a look at the Miami International Autodrome.
Hi guys, I'm Dylan Medler, driver number 15 of the Collections Ferrari 296 Challenge car. This is my home track and I'm going to take you for a lap around Miami International Autodrome. So here we are crossing the start-finish line. You're going to have your eyes up looking for turn 1, hard braking your bridge, down a few gears and want to hit the apex. After that, your eyes look forward to the apex of 2, and then 3, you want to be as flat as possible here, carry as much speed. So now it's a long sweeping corner, so eyes up. Now you see the next corner, a light brush to the brakes, then attack the corner. And then these corners right here have a little mojo here, so if you mess one up, the next ones don't end up so good. But if you hit it perfectly, it's very sweet. You gain a lot of time. This corner is very demanding on the car as it likes to roll over since there's a lot of lower on the tires. But after that, you want to get a great exit. And here we are on the back straight. So here on the back straight, although it is a little curvy, you don't really have time to rest, but you're carrying a lot of speed in 6th gear. You want to do a light brush of the brakes here, carry speed through the wall, attack this apex, and then attack this next one and get a great exit as there's a little straight here. Now coming up to one of the toughest corners for me, you want to carry speed and not upset the car, hit the apex, and back to full throttle. And pretty much if you hit that apex correctly, you get a lot of speed down this main street, gain a lot of tenths. And then now to the last corner, you want to brake as deep as possible, but not upsetting the car. And look right towards the apex, hit the apex, and then back to power. And all the way up the gears to 6th gear. Try and not turn the steering wheel as much. And that is a lap around Miami International Autodrome.
Great to see a proper lap from Medler as they now head out for their reconnaissance lap out onto the track and away. He mentioned that corner again coming onto the straight. We've mentioned we think it's absolutely crucial because the end of that straight is your best overtaking opportunity. You got to get it right.
Yeah, on our track map, the turn 15 is very crucial. You need to ride the inside curve, but also in the exit to have a good run for the back straight going towards turn 17. Interesting that Dylan mentioned as well, a lot of corners on this track are related to the next one. If you mess up one corner, then it takes you out from the right racing line, and you see it straight away in lap time, losing positions in the race and so on. So you need to be exactly in the right place all the time. Obviously the tarmac is F1 quality, is very smooth, it has good grip level, but also it's gentle to the tires. We haven't seen a very dramatic tire wear, but there are still things to learn in this race, and it's very interesting to see how it turns out.
Indeed, that's Robert Williams. I was talking to them earlier on about their liveries. They like a new livery at each round. I did say to me, "You're making it hard for us, guys. You're making it very hard for us," which they thought was very entertaining. But yeah, they like a bit of pop art and graffiti on cars. Yeah, in terms of sequences, you kind of got 1, 2, 3, which is obviously off the first corner. Then you've got 4, 5, 6 into 7 and 8, 6, 7, 8. That's that long left-hander that Medler was talking about. The car wants to roll the tyres over a bit. And then you've got 9, where the car is still loaded on the brakes. And he mentioned about trying to get the entry to that chicane right. This is very difficult, and it's where we've seen a couple of drivers drop it.
Yeah, you're coming in high speed, almost 200 miles an hour, and still turning left. And at that time, when you touch the brake, if the brake pressure is too high, it's very difficult to lose the control of the car. So you need a smooth braking, almost like rolling into the corner. And yeah, it takes different driving techniques here around this very technical Miami International Autodrome circuit. And it hasn't been easy from the practice. Like you mentioned, some of the drivers were caught with the street circuit character and also the walls being very close. But I think when you nail a perfect lap in qualifying, or you are able to do a good job in the race, this track gives you a special flavor.
Had a good chat with Sebastian Mascaro, who starts second on the Pirelli Am Group behind the pole sitter Brad Falver, and he was saying he was 3 tenths up on that last lap, and he was so stoked coming down the straight thinking, I've got this, I'm going to take the pole. And he lost it all in the one corner. And he said it's so hard because there are so many corners to be consistent on every lap and nail everyone on. You got 17 turns here. You got to get them all right if you want the perfect lap. And he said he struggles with the consistency. Still very impressive. He's only been racing cars for a couple of years. He's really keen to take a win. He hasn't had a win yet, but he does feel he could here. Of course, he's got to get past Brad Falvra, who is the standings leader in Pirelli Am with 3 wins. Who else has taken a win in Pirelli Am? Christopher Cagnazzi took the first win in Daytona. Not here with us this weekend. Some of the drivers dropping in and out, and I think after this weekend we're certainly going to see, who the championship standouts are. We've got the 6 rounds in America before they go for the finale mondiale, and some drivers will, of course, if they're in with a shout at the championship, I think they will elect to go there, and I guess that's a spectacular event as well, like this one.
Yeah, Finale Mondial is very special. We get the national championships or the championships from each continent. Huge event. similar character like this one, where you have Ferrari cars on track. You see the 499P prototypes, you see the Club Challenge cars, you see the Club GT cars, also a big Casa Ferrari during the Finale Mondiali, and a lot of Ferrari fans. Being in Italy, we have between 30 to 60,000 depending on a year, supporting Ferrari drivers and just living the Ferrari lifestyle for a weekend. So those are very special events.
Very much looking forward to that. Of course, this incredible weekend here, Ferrari Races weekend. After this session, you'll be able to hang around and you can see the Sport Prototipi Clienti cars out on track with the F1 Clienti as well. Now, we're on weekend number 3. If you missed the previous 2, let's take a look back at the last one from Daytona. Well, there are very few people left on the grid, as you can see. And that means just one thing. Let's head down to Nina Jade Paul.
I'm going to keep it short and sweet because it's absolutely sweltering down here. Drivers, start your Ferrari engines.
Right on cue, we are good to go. The V6 turbos getting started up. Wonderful on the onboard with Medler. You can really hear the turbo. You can hear it both spooling up and it dumping the excess pressure with the wastegate when you come off throttle. It's a great sound.
Yeah, and these cars are very fast, over 700 horsepower, and top speeds at Daytona were impressive. Lap times here have been really, really impressive. We could see on Dylan's car, on Dylan Medler's car, there was still the last adjustments on tire pressure. So that is a very important thing. Racing in a very hot track temperature, to have the tire pressures just right is very important.
Of course, they had that one warm-up lap where they were weaving very, very hard in an attempt to get it in. Then the last possible moment was just now, where you can make an adjustment to the pressures again. Oil pressure really starts to build now, doesn't it? Massimo Perina over on this side of the grid, the challenger. The current champion on the far side, Dylan Medler. Behind them, the youngster, Johnny Kaminsky, in the white and day-glow coloured car. 16 years old. He was the youngest ever driver to take a pole position in Daytona. Could he be the youngest ever driver to take a win as well? Cars are rolling out then for race 1 at Miami International Autodrome. Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli Am in this one. Nina Jade Paul in the centre of the grid, seeing the drivers off down towards turn 1. They've had a warm-up lap, and now they're getting themselves ready for their first rolling lap ahead of the safety car coming in. And then we'll be chucking all those cars down into turn 1 very much more aggressively on the very next lap to this. Let's take a look at the grid for Trofeo Pirelli. On the front row, Dylan Medler, the champion with the pole. Massimo Perina, P2 in the standings, P2 on the grid. That story continues to row number 2. Johnny Kaminsky, 16 years old, had that puncture in Daytona that denied him a better result. Manny Franco next to him. Row 3, Brian Cook and Tony Davis. On row 4, Roberto Perina, Massimo's uncle, and Ethan McWilliams. Row 5, Dave Musial Jr. and Gray Falvra. On then to Trofeo Pirelli Am, the pole sitter, Brad Falvra and Sebastian Mascaro, less than a tenth of a second, I think it was, in qualifying earlier today. Ray Acosta and Jay Logan. Rafael Duran, Matthew Diel, Ophir Levy and Dave Musial. Robert McWilliams, Benoit Bergeron, Dan Magnaszewski and Gerdas Venceslavas. And on row 12, Frank Sesniak. Right, what's your money on, Tony, in the run to the first corner? I think overtaking here is rare, we think, but we haven't really got any data. The drivers think it'll be hard. I think they'll be opportunistic if they can.
Yeah, in Pirelli this year we've seen a very close and tight racing, but fair at the same time. So I'm putting my money on Dylan Medler. The reason one is he's the champion from last year, but also this year he has been just slightly more determined. He knows the racecraft very well, and he's on top of his game. I think he's driving the best I've seen him drive all these years in Ferrari Challenge. So also Massimo Perina starting P2 is very, very fast. I think he posted the fastest lap time of the practice sessions before qualifying. So Massimo has also a lot of pace. He was the winning driver last year with the 488 challenge car, and this year he has showed his pace with the 296 challenge. So front row, very impressive, a lot of talent. We've seen great racing, but fair so far. Maybe at one point of the season there will be some race of aggression level, maybe, but let's see. Hopefully we get a clean start.
Let's see, indeed. Coming around to the final stages of the lap, at which point, of course, the safety car will peel off into the pit lane, and it'll be up to Dylan Medler to get us underway. Safety car goes in. Medler, Perina and Kaminsky, with Manny Franco on the outside of row 2. The gap back is to the Pirelli AM drivers. Medler's making them wait a long time. Now he opens up the throttle fully down towards the first corner. Perina puts a little bit of a squeeze on him. Franco goes deep around the outside and up the inside. I think Perina might be alongside. He is, but Medler has the inside line with the left hand. And Kaminsky's having problems there with Franco. Looks like Franco's got in front of him. Spin in the background. But we're with the leaders now. Kaminsky boxed in, can't look to the inside line there. He's going to lose the position if he's not careful. Medler leads. Oh, Kaminsky's aggressively holding on through the right. They've been side by side since turn 2 for P3. Oh, Kaminsky still hasn't quite claimed it, and he loses the position. So Kaminsky drops back now, looks back underneath, can't get through to Manny Franco. It's a good start from Manny Franco. He was opportunistic there. But I'll tell you what, Kaminsky made him work for it. Medler leads from Perina.
Yeah, I think Medler overshot the turn 1 a little bit, so it opened a chance to overtake for Perina, and now it's a great fight between Kaminsky and Franco. I think Franco had a lot of pace in qualifying, and I think he was overdriving it a bit, meaning that he was trying too much. He was riding the curbs too aggressively, and now this is the start, opening lap for our 30-minute race.
Oh, full course yellow, that's a shame. Straight away, full course yellow as the cars head onto the back straight. Well, there we go.
Yeah, this is a thing that we were talking before the race. This track doesn't forgive a lot. The walls are really close. Now, unfortunately, going into turn 1, we had contact already between two drivers, so hopefully we get this cleared very, very quickly. We had a great battle with our Pirelli drivers at the front. Here we can see that Dylan Medler overshoots the turn 1, opening the chance for Kaminsky. Oh yeah, there was some opportunity, a little bit too much optimism going into turn 1, and one of the drivers lost the control of his car already before or during the braking, and that caused the accident and contact between several cars.
Well, there we go. It's, a bit of a shame to say there it is. Turn 1, the drivers are back round, so it'll be at least another lap behind the full course yellow while they get that car cleared out of the way. I must admit, I was absolutely enthralled with the battle up front, and I can't watch two places at once. We had two boxes up on screen, and that's too much for my tiny brain to manage. Let's have another look. So watching the background, ignore the front guys because we're looking at the accident that happens in the background. It'll be right-hand side of your screen, so you can see Medler running a bit deep. But it's a long way back. It's a long way back on the brakes, isn't it? And runs into the back and runs the car up high. Does Mascaro? Yeah, so Sebastian Mascaro's got damage on the back of that car as well. Look, Mascaro gets away with it, lays down a huge pair of black lines on the blue paint here. But he gets away, but I think we'll have dropped back down the order. That's Favre. So it's the pole sitter. Oh, it's Brad Favre, the pole sitter for Pirelli Am. That's an absolute disaster, and through no fault of his own.
Yeah, turn 1 is quite tight. You have the wall all the way almost to the braking point into turn 1 on the right-hand side. And some of the drivers were caught by the fact that you had to slow down even more than they were thinking, and that caused the cars going into spin and then contact between several cars. So yeah, tight racing. Unfortunately, we have this full course yellow now, and hopefully we get it sorted out quickly.
Yeah.
And get back to racing.
And in the meantime, drivers want to keep the temperatures up. You don't want to get the temperature too high. Temperatures in the cockpit will be rising.
And again, Dylan Medler very determined after turn 1. He almost lost the lead of the race to Massimo Perina, but the fight continued through turn 3, and Dylan was able to regain his lead of the race, and Massimo Perina at the same time. Very hard racing, but fair, like we've seen the whole season. And
Kaminsky and Franco was great.
yeah, Manny Franco very determined as well.
But fair.
Fair,
Yeah.
and hard fight. I was actually expecting a bit more from Manny in qualifying. And like I
Really?
said, he was a little bit all over the place. I think if he would have stepped down a bit from the aggression, from the input he was putting with his race car, I think he would have kind of better results. So he had also a good speed in the practice and has a lot of experience. He's running also the IMSA with the 296 GT3, so he's well aware of the competition side, hard racing, also with GT3 cars. So he has a lot of experience with tight racing.
Wasn't in Daytona, of course, but took the win at the first round in Sonoma, having qualified in P3. So good to see him back in amongst it. Yeah, we keep talking, don't we, about these youngsters and the up-and-coming drivers, and Manny Franco's here, and he's getting stuck straight into them, making them work hard. Let's take one more look at the start. So it's this piece of track, but 3 laps to go. In the background, watch for it.
Yeah, I think it's the blue and white car who's
Yes,
running in
there
the
it
back.
is.
He's
Up the
running
back
in
of Brad Falver. That pushes
Exactly.
Mascaro off, look. So Brad gets spun around. Then there's a second bit of contact. Let's see.
Yeah, I think it was Duran who ran in the back of Brad Favre's car, and that caused everything that happened into turn 1.
Just trying to see where Duran was on the grid. If we go back, was on row 3 of Pirelli Amp, so it actually done well to get up behind the 2 leaders, but unfortunately misjudged the braking. Looks like, of course, it's hard for us to see from that angle, and the drivers will have their own arguments on it, and if the stewards want to talk to anybody, sometimes we get 5-place grid penalties which are applied for the following race if they feel that a driver has caused a collision. So we'll see what occurs at the end of this
Yeah,
one.
there were a few things that I noticed at the start. So Dylan Medler was really close to the safety car. First of all, safety car dived into the pit lane. Then we obviously have the separation between Pirelli and Pirelli Amp, and also the 2 lines coming into the main straight. They were really close. They didn't actually go through the, let's say, single-seater, the box lines.
The channels, yeah.
They didn't go through the channels. The cars were really close to each other. Nothing really happened there, but sometimes the race director or the stewards who are watching the start, they want the drivers to go through the channels, but in this case they were really close. So far we haven't seen anything that is under review regarding the start, but I just noticed the 2 lines were really close to each other.
Well, that's what Perina got the penalty for back in Sonoma. So when he took his first win, he got a penalty for crossing the line too early. Not saying it was Perina, but it's we'll take another look and see. I'm sure certainly if we don't, the stewards will be taking another look. Those people are right up on the top of the wonderful pit lane wing building that's been built here for Formula One, which we've taken over the entire thing of for Casa Ferrari. It is extremely impressive. We wish you were here, we really do. And that is turn 16, the kink onto the straight. Turn 15 before it is the one which is key. The lights are out on the safety car. Now Medler starts to warm the tyres a little bit more, and in the background you can see Manny Franco aggressively warming his tyres too. It's Brian Cook with the blue and yellow coloured car, I think, in the background. No, he's the red and yellow, sorry. Behind him, Tony Davis is the blue and yellow. So Franco weaving, Kaminsky with the luminous coloured wheels tucked in behind him. Everybody getting to a line, and this will be a little bit more of a simple start, let's say, because they'll start in line order rather than side by side, so in race order. Look how close behind Perina is. Medler surely will get on the gas here as early as he can. Is he going to back him? And he's going to make him wait again. And this time he comes through. Now you know he's on the gas, leaning on the 296 challenge car as he comes through the left-hander and over the start-finish line. The lead four now looking to make a break. Cook and Davis just in behind them. Kaminsky looks to the inside line, but Franco has gone defensive on that. Medler doesn't run wide this time. So it's Medler, Perina, Franco, Kaminsky. Brian Cook just behind. These five now. Can Cook go with the front four and see if they can make a little breakaway? Then I think we might start to see some moves coming into play here. Medler aggressively moving the car right there across the paint to the outside line. So we still think end of the straight is the best possible opportunity to overtake it. You're going to have to be very close. Perina is pretty close, maybe not close enough.
Yeah, and these are the key moments after a restart behind safety car. The tire temps or the grip level is not optimum yet, so this is where the driver can make a bigger difference. So these are the moments where you can start gaining places, or at the same time, if you are not awake, you don't trust the car enough, you can lose places.
Side by side around that back section, some of the linked corners. Keen to see, so Acosta leads from off here, Levy and McWilliams in, so how far down are our front row drivers? Sebastian Mascaro's in P4 from Pirelli Am. He's in the black and gold coloured kites. At the back of this pack is off here, Levy with Ray Acosta just in front. In the 97 is Gray Falvera. Down at the end of the straight now, Kaminsky looking to try and make a pass for P3. And off here, Levy tucked right underneath as well. Will Levy go deep on the inside line here? Not close enough this time round. Everybody feeling not quite so brave, it seems, on lap number 2.
Yeah, it was funny before the race. Our Pirelli Am leader, Ray Acosta, starting P3, told me, Tony, you want me to put on a show? I said, you just stay calm at the start and everything will work out fine. And he's actually leading the race right now.
Okay, so he will be made up with that, I'm sure. Acosta is in the 7, yeah, so he's in the 7 with off 11 behind. They are up behind Dave Musial Jr. So they need to find a way through if they can. Fastest laps are indicated by the purple stopwatch up on your screen top left. And of course, one for each of the two different classes. Medler at the minute, there's a point available for that fastest lap as well. Acosta will want to dispatch Musial Jr. here if he can. All over the back of him, but got to find a way through pretty quickly because he doesn't want the pressure behind from off here, Levy. And obviously, if he can get through, then Levy's got to do the same thing, and that might help him just use Musial as a buffer between them. You've got to get past first. This is that very tricky braking zone, isn't it, into the chicane. So that's up at turn 10, the long left-hander into the chicane where the cars are still loaded up. Perina, that is Roberto Perina, is in behind Davis. Here's that fight still at the very front of Pirelli Am and the back end of Pirelli. Oh, it's close there between Perina. Perina pulls out the slipstream as well.
Yeah, here we see Ray Acosta. In front of him is Dave Musial Jr., who is in another category.
Inside. Has he got it done? Oh, yes, he has. Yeah, he's through. So he makes it through, gets past Musial Jr., so Acosta moves up, dispatches the first of those Pirelli drivers. Musial Jr., he's got him in between him and Ophir Levy now. And this is the time to capitalise on that, isn't it? Get on the throttle now and get away from Levy. See if he can make himself a bit of a gap. Off here, Levy looks to the inside. So they're both making Musial Jr., or have been making him drive on the mirrors.
Yeah, Ray Acosta wasn't super happy after Daytona. He felt like he couldn't get the performance out of the race car he normally gets. And together with his coach, Marco Bonanomi, and together with Dave Corse, they have worked between the races. And now he has a different shape, different form on track. And he's showing the performance that we normally see.
Ophir Levy continues to close down on the back of Dave Musial Jr. Wonder if he'll find a way through in the same place right up at the end of the straight. It's going to have to be super, super close. Acosta was really close when he managed to tuck it up the inside. There's the braking zone through 10 into 11 and 12 at the chicane. And then the run through the double kinks that you can see in the middle of your picture there. That's 13 and 14. Oh, look at that. Acosta, and Ophir Levy goes deep. As to say, Acosta was really late in the brakes, and Levy now is going to lose out. This is what we've been talking about the fact that if you lose out on the exit of that corner, you lose a ton of speed. Mascaro pulls out to the inside but can't quite get through. Levy, he might get away with this off here, Levy. Under pressure the whole way down the straight, but if you can make somebody make that mistake in front of you, you can capitalise. Unfortunately, it was Levy who made the mistake trying to close Dave Musial Jr. down.
Yeah, Levy felt the pressure because he had Dave Musial between him and the race leader in Pirelli Am, Ray Acosta, so he wanted to force himself for that overtaking opportunity and actually made a mistake that he lost a little bit of ground.
Mascaro looks up the inside here. Sebastian Mascaro he said to me this morning, like, I'm close to the win, I think I can take it, and then what happened in turn one he will be frustrated with. You can use that to fire you up, but you have to make sure you don't fire yourself up to the point where you're too aggressive and you're not following your own driving rules, if you like.
Yeah, it's a fine line when you build up the aggression to have it work in the way that you go faster on the track, or is it too much and then you make a mistake. So I think hot-headed driver is not a good combination with 700 horsepower, so you need to stay calm and make right choices on track.
Medler was deep on the brakes there. You could see a bit more rotation in the car than he might have wanted. I think Medler's pushing very, very hard here, and Perina's going with him. Perina's just following to see what he's doing. Not saying he's got any more pace in there. It's not like Perina could suddenly jump on him, but he is making Medler drive on the limit up at turn 10.
Yeah, and these two drivers that we see here, so Dylan Medler and Massimo Perina, they really taking everything out from the race car tires. There's no tire saving. There's nothing to be left for the last 10 minutes of the race. They're going for it flat out. And also the gap they are building to Manny Franco, it shows that the leading two, they have just different pace.
Yeah, they do. Kaminsky hasn't been. In fact, Kaminsky's dropped way off the back. Oh, the inside! Contact between them.
No! No!
Medler is super unhappy. You could hear him in the car.
I think he lost the steering now.
He was very unhappy. Perina looked up the inside. Perina had done the fastest lap of the race. I just looked up at the screen.
And he broke the car as well.
So Perina may be out too. So Manny Franco and Johnny Kaminsky might be about to take over. Franco through to the race lead. Kaminsky goes through as well. So your two race leaders, your two championship leaders, Medler and Perina,
Wow.
We knew they were on the limit. We could see it. I looked away at just the wrong moment,
and
of
we
course.
mentioned fair racing that at some point it will get more aggressive. And yeah,
that was
just
it.
Having seen the accident, I just think Perina was a little bit too late. There might be that there was a gap. Now going into turn one, we see here, so Dylan is not expecting Perina to dive in. He just turns in.
He's 100% up the inside,
they
though.
are side by side, so
He's 100% up the inside. That's a tricky. He has come from a long way back. I don't think he would have made the apex, but as a block pass, he might have pulled it off. What's your thoughts now you've seen it a second time?
It's very difficult to judge. I would say a racing accident, but yeah, it's very difficult to say whose fault was that.
Well, it was
very difficult.
They were 4.2 seconds up the road from Manny Franco. Contact again now in the background. That's Brian Cook has had contact down at turn 17.
Was with Perina. Yeah, that was with Massimo Perina, 27 and 3.
So Perina's trying to hold on. I wonder if Perina was just feeling his way back into the car or not.
I think he has a bended steering probably, but he's just trying to survive.
We lost it's Roberto Perina. It's Roberto Perina in the 55 with Cook with him, and then the background now Massimo Perina. So Massimo Perina's dropped down to P5, but Perina's pace still seems to be there. You wonder, don't you, is he taking a lap just to feel that everything's okay? But double contact. So Franco leads from Kaminsky. Full course yellow. Full course yellow again. Well, that's going to tighten everything up, but we've got to pick the bones of quite a few incidents now. So while the full course yellow's out, we can take a look back at some of those.
Yeah, we were talking about the heat here in Miami, but also the things on track got quite heated.
Very heated, and I was saying the gap was 4.5 between P2 back to well, the gap, yeah, from those leading two. There is Medler parked off at the side of the track. You could hear him screaming in the car. He was very, very unhappy with that.
Yeah, again, very difficult to judge whose fault it was. I think Dylan was not expecting initially that Massimo Perina is going to dive in the braking zone of turn one. And then when he realized that Perina is making the move, he tried to react, but probably he was a bit too late. When they had the contact, I think almost Perina was ahead. So it's very difficult to judge. And Perina made a similar move a few laps before, but he stepped back, backed out of it, And yeah, now he made it. He decided to do it, and obviously the final result was not good.
I don't think there would have been any backing out of that, Tony, because of how committed he was to it. It was so late, and from a long. It was impressive.
Yeah, the only thing Dylan could have done is stay on the left
and tuck underneath him.
Yeah, stay on the left, and if Massimo was about to overshoot turn 1, then try to get the position back. I think Perina had more pace because he was following Dylan so closely for the whole that time. So pressure, judgment, heat, or Miami, maybe.
Miami Heat.
Miami Heat, maybe indeed. Everything got together, and yeah, Manny Franco leading the race right now.
Let me take a look at the championship standings. It was 136 to Medler, 132 to Perina, then Kaminsky on 114. Obviously with Manny Franco having missed a couple of rounds, and he was a DNS, in fact, at the second race in Sonoma. I think he had an off there, if I remember, in qualifying. It's a little while ago now. I can barely remember what I had for lunch. But
and we mentioned a few times the way to approach these 30-minute races. Every opportunity can change very dramatically the final result. So Manny Franco being able to overtake Johnny Kominski at the opening lap, he's actually now leading the race. So each fight, each position is very important, and when you have the chance, you need to go for it. So Manny Franco being very aggressive in the beginning has now giving him the race lead.
I think interesting too now what Kaminsky does, because while Kaminsky will have been annoyed he got mugged at the start, you could argue he's in a very strong championship position with Medler out and Perina carrying Massimo Perina, who has the fastest lap, sitting down in P5, as you can see, has dropped 3 places and may drop more now.
But also for Kaminsky, if I would be on his radio saying that probably Manny Franco is not doing all the races, you are P2.
Yeah.
Go for it if you have a chance.
You would.
But take P2 and no risk.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Yeah,
I think championship position. I just think at this point, and that's he's 16, so there will be an element of
and he's improving.
He's brilliant. He's brilliant.
There's race weekends coming that he may dominate the whole weekend. So
we got poled in the Daytona. We know he's quick. Daytona, he was so good, wasn't it? The race between the 3 of them was so good in Daytona. Here, unfortunately, it's gone wrong a little bit sooner for a few of our major players. The big news is the championship leader, Dylan Medler, is stopped. He's out after contact at turn 1 with Massimo Perina, who's second in the standings, making a move up the inside. Massimo was 100% alongside. Did Medler not see him? Would he? The stewards will sometimes ask the question, would he have made the corner? But that's normally if you hit the broad side of the car in front of you, isn't it, to hold you on the track? And they were both going straight, so it's irrelevant whether he would have made the corner. He didn't use Medler to stop. Medler has to turn in, of course, but as you say, could wait. It's so tricky. Let's take another look.
yeah, there's the gap. There's the gap. I would need a picture. I think Dylan starts to turn in here. Boom. When he realized that Massimo is there. But he also wants to do the corner, so it's very difficult to judge here. Also, the speed they touch and the angle is the one that broke Dylan's front suspension
and
straight away.
Probably damaged Massimo's as well. Yeah, Massimo was very cautious for at least a lap, and that was how he lost a couple of positions. Safety car lights are out. We've got 8 minutes left. The lap time here is around.
And we haven't seen it all yet.
No, I was just thinking. Let's hope we have 8 clean minutes of racing. There's your current running order for Trofeo Pirelli. Ray Acosta leading for Ophir Levy. McWilliams Mascaro is up into P4. So watch out for Mascaro. The black and gold say was on great form. And of course Brad Falver retired and was away. Okay, so we're underway already. Franco.
Kaminsky's close.
Kaminsky wants to have a look straight away if he can. Roberto Perina is in P3. Oh, Kaminsky dives out to the outside, going to go deep. Franco goes late on the brakes. Kaminsky will try and get him on the undercut on the exit here. Watch for Franco running wide. Kaminsky gets on the throttle. If he's not careful, Perina will come through too. Rides the curbs. Perina looks inside. Can't find a way through. They do indeed. Kaminsky again is inside through the long right-hander. Huge pressure here for Manny Franco out front. Kaminsky now able to watch his mirrors for Roberto Perina as well. Brian Cook in P4. Massimo Perina still holds on to P5 with the opposite livery to his uncle in third place. They both got the yellow headlights on as well. Oh, inside Perina looks. Kaminsky though will have the better exit. So close between these top three, they can all sniff a win. 6 minutes 53 left on the clock. The checker flag will come out 0 and we will finish the lap. We're on. Perina flashes his lights now at Kaminsky, putting more pressure on the 16-year-old. Here we come up to the end of the straight. This is turn 2 through the 10, through the chicane. Oh, it's not good for Kaminsky. He makes a mistake. He doesn't. Perina's all over the back of him, but he backs out, doesn't run into the back of Kaminsky, and that closes up the gap between him, Brian Cook, and Massimo Perina now on the back of Brian Cook. Perina, Massimo is going well here, considering that car might be carrying damage.
Yeah, what an opening lap after the safety car. John Kaminsky made, in the essence, he made a mistake, so the whole rhythm for the drivers behind him, they had to back off in the middle of the corner, so they did well not to run into each other. And now we see Massimo Perina fighting with Brian Cook.
He's trying to find a way through. Did he manage to get underneath him? He didn't. Brian Cook just holds on, but Massimo Perina, this is where he made the move that took Medler out of the race. Can he get 100% alongside again? He's a long way back, but he's a fair way back last time, and he thinks better of it this time round, but he's getting closer and closer to Cook. Meanwhile, Kaminsky 0.7 of a second off, Perina 0.7 of a second off, so 1.4, 2.7, I think, between the top 5 drivers. We had a gap, didn't we, of 4.2 between the leading 2 and the rest of the pack, and with the incident, it's tucked them all up so close together.
Yeah, Manny Franco has good pace. His car is handling really well, and I think it looks like Johnny is fighting a little bit with understeer. He's struggling to keep the same tight line as Manny is doing, at least during the lap after the restart. And there's some places where it looks like Johnny is catching the leading car and then again losing a little bit.
It looks like he's catching through this section, doesn't he? This is turn 10 with the loaded
last lap he
section.
made a mistake here.
He did. This was where he ran out, and he does it again. Well, no, maybe not, as you say. If he hasn't got turn in, then he's losing too much speed with the change of direction. So Kaminsky, tyres maybe.
Yeah,
they haven't had that many racing laps.
Pressure. Yeah, also a lot of pressure. There's pressure from Roberto Perina behind him, and he's just targeting Manny Franco ahead of him, and maybe a little bit of too much optimism going into the S's, running the curb too much, and then he loses a little bit of momentum.
Perina looks to the inside line, shows his car in the mirrors of Kaminsky.
But again, at slow speed, it really looks like he's struggling to make that rotation. He really needs to stop the race car, and Roberto is able to follow him really closely.
Roberto moves across again. Kaminsky with one swerve. Remember, you're not allowed to weave more than once on a straight, so you can come across and back again, but not 3 times. So you have to be able to allow the car behind to take an alternate line to you through the corner. They have broken the toe of Brian Cook and Massimo Perina. Massimo Perina seems unable to dispatch Cook. I mean, if he's carrying damage, he's doing well to hold on to P5, and this, for him, is damage limitation. Oh, no! Oh, that's right. That's Ray Acosta.
Ray Acosta.
And Acosta was leading, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was really leading the Pirelli Am.
So Pirelli Am leader is in. That means Ophir Levy leads, and Sebastian Mascaro is up into P2. According to our timing screens, he was P4 at the restart. The black and gold car, Mascaro, almost taken out at the start. He was run out onto the apron. There's Mascaro in the background. Ophir Levy, front of your picture. Dave Musial Jr. in between with the blue-coloured car. What's Mascaro's lap times like compared to Levy? Levy was a 1:40.5. He's a 10th quicker. Not a lot, but Mascaro going very well. Would love to get past Ophir Levy. Levy, of course, with a bit of pressure behind from Dave Musial Jr., who's in the other class, so can use that as a buffer. With 3 minutes to go, I think it's going to be hard for Mascaro to get there, but we've seen a lot in this race already. Oh, Kaminsky. Massimo looking to try and pass Brian Cook, but can't this time. Now he's out wide, wants Cook to get defensive and get a better exit speed. Maybe could have another go at that turn 1 move again. Just not quite so close to the concertina effect of the brakes and the throttle. Here we go, Perina. He's probably only got 2 more attempts at this. He'll have to be brave if he wants to. He is good on the brakes, but maybe with the damage, the move's not on, Tony.
Yeah, it looks like Massimo Perina, again, he's slowing down a bit. Some areas of track where he can do the lines and the speed he was carrying before, but I just think the steering alignment, the steering wheel is not as it should be after the contact. And yeah, Manny Franco is showing a similar performance that he posted very fast lap times in the afternoon sessions in the free practice. So again, on that last lap he was 4 tenths faster, almost half a second faster than Johnny Kaminsky. So Manny Franco's setup, tire pressures, is really working the race distance, but also in this high temperature.
Good work from Franco and the team. There is Kaminsky. And you see Kaminsky now, I think he's going to have to focus his eyes behind him. And again, Roberto Perina just has better pace than him through that chicane. It's been several laps now. Look how much road they're using right out over the blue stripe, as close to the wall as they dare to get. And out through turn 15 and 16. 16 is the kink. This could be an opportunity again for Roberto Perina if he wants to take a look. Flashes the lights. Kaminsky goes one defensive move. Perina's not quite close enough. He does have a look up the inside line, but he doesn't want to compromise his exit from turn 17. Drivers were telling him you've got to stop the car there and get it turned in. You're so desperate you want to go in quick, but if you do, you compromise the exit somewhere.
Yeah, very tight racing line, basically just a car wide correct racing line, and then you lose the grip and you lose the rotation, and you cannot get out of the corner, and you lose a lot of lap time. So even when the track is getting faster, you get more rubber laid on the surface of the track, then you get even more narrow racing line where you need to keep your race car all the time.
The discipline's so hard though, isn't it?
Yeah, concentration, experience, sometimes braking a bit earlier and keeping the car in the right racing line. It's way faster. Trying to force the car all the time under braking, you just overheat the tires and you risk of losing the right racing line.
And then you put a car in your mirrors, a foot off the rear bumper, and suddenly all those great ideas go out the window, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. But definitely there's one area of the racetrack where Johnny Kaminsky is really struggling. It's related to those chicanes, running the curbs. I think we are closing this area now. Here he really loses some momentum, and you can see the speed that Perina is carrying through that area, and every time here he's way closer than he's in the other parts of the racetrack. So I think Johnny needs to work a little bit on those, riding those curves between 10 to 12.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, out front, coming down towards the end of the straight, there he is, red with the yellow stripe over the top. Manny Franco made a move on Kaminsky at the start of the race, and that was absolutely critical. They were side by side for half the first lap. It all kicked off behind them. That put him in P3, and when it all kicked off in front of him, he was there, and he's done a brilliant job. He fights off the youngster behind. Manny Franco takes his second win of the year here at the Miami Autodrome. Behind him, Kaminsky hangs on for second. That's brilliant for his championship aspirations. P3 is Roberto Perina. P4, Cook. P5, Massimo Perina. Will there be any investigation into turn one? What will they say? We think he was 100% alongside. Medler will definitely disagree. And Dylan Medler, the championship leader, is out. There is Ophir Levy, your winner for Pirelli AM. Sebastian Mascaro gets P2, which is a great recovery after getting shoveled off in turn one. And Benoit Bergeron gets P3 in Pirelli AM. Well,
yeah, Manny Franco from P3 to P1 in Sonoma, and here from P4 and won the race. So impressive 2 runs he had in these races. So great drive.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as well, don't forget with the restarts that you have the pressure of 1 start is enough, but 2 restarts. Kaminsky was right there. Yeah, it's a great job, isn't it?
Yeah, Manny Franco, you can see also from the setup, he had a good rotation with his car, and since the opening lap behind the safety car, when we went back to green, he was able to get to the rhythm a bit faster than the other drivers, and that was the key.
So one thing Kaminsky said to me this morning as we were walking into the circuit was, he said about the long rotational braking through turn 10. He said if you're struggling with understeer, they've tried to get his car very pointy. But that then means he can't aggressively...
He lost it even once.
Yes, at that same place.
Yeah.
So he wants a pointy front end, but that means when you get on the brakes with the rotation, it can over-rotate. Maybe he needs to sacrifice some of that pointiness for stability on the brakes through the tightening left-hander. It's tricky.
And maybe also a little bit of experience, because with the new tires you can have a different balance than in the end of a 30-minute race. So it's also a little bit due to the experience of the driver to guide your team and the engineers onto the right road, what to do and how to solve these issues. And I think today, with the combination of qualifying 12 minutes and the race of 30 minutes, they have more information and they can do some setup adjustments for tomorrow.
Overnight, yeah. Still, I think Kaminsky might take the lead in the championship here. I'm trying to look at the gaps and figure out. He was 16, quick maths, come on Andrew, 14 points behind Okay, don't add up on air, Andrew. That's the answer to that. He was behind. So Kaminsky will definitely close the gap. But I think actually that Massimo Perina finishing in P5 might mean that he will take the lead. Take the lead. Medler will definitely drop back because Massimo Perina was only 4 points behind Dylan Medler at the start of this race. And then it was 132 to 114 was the gap between Perina and Kaminsky. Kaminsky finished 3 places in front of Massimo Perina, so it will be closer between Massimo Perina and Johnny Kaminsky. And Dylan Medler will have dropped down with the 0 points here. I think Medler is going to be very unhappy, but we'll have to see with a bit of time to calm down, and he may look back and go, you know what?
Yeah, difficult situation where two competitive drivers, other trying to defend for his position and the other driver trying to gain the lead of the race. Also, by the rules from the steward side, it's not easy to make a decision. There's always a chance also to call it as a racing accident. Unfortunate was a little bit the angle the two cars touched. It was very hard hit, so bended straight away and probably broke the front suspension on Dylan Medler's car. So here we see Manny Franco celebrating his 2nd win of the season.
He's a happy boy, and so he should be. Great drive. Manny Franco, winner of race number 5, weekend number 3, the first encounter. Of course, we're going to go again tomorrow. I'll tell you what, he doesn't even look like he's broken into a sweat, does he?
Yeah, he's done a lot of endurance racing, so long stints in the race car, so he's fit. He's fit for it.
You need to stay relaxed too, don't you? It makes a big difference if you feel relaxed in the car. I was struck by that when we looked at Medler's onboard lap. Yeah, there was a fair bit of blinking because you want to clear your eyes at the points you can blink on the circuit so you can have them wide when you really need to focus, but he still looked ever so relaxed. Medler did, driving around the track. Manny Franco is with Nina Jade Paul.
Manny Franco, yes, take that water. We're both sweating. I feel embarrassing for sweating because you were in a full race suit. First top step at Miami. How does that feel?
It feels incredible to be on a new track, a new place I've never driven before. You know, just coming in Wednesday was my first time out, and I always tell everybody that, like, you see my first 10 laps, I have no clue where I'm going. So it feels good to be on the top step of the podium, of course, after a really hot weekend here. It especially feels good. So.
It was a really commanding drive from you. 2 wins so far this season. What was it like when Johnny Kaminsky was putting some pressure on you in the restart there?
I mean, you have to watch your cameras for sure. You got to drive with them. And the pressure that Johnny gave, you expect that from someone who is in Pirelli. And it was expected. I was honestly hoping that I'd hold him off, and luckily I did, so it was good.
Well, congratulations. Have some more water.
Yeah, thank you. I will.
Great stuff. Look, thumbs up and a big smile. Something we haven't spoken about yet is the fact this is a brand new circuit for everybody. None of them have been here, and it's interesting to see who's coped with it and just been straight on it. Franco, Kaminsky, Perina, Medler, they've all just got on with it. They have had a lot of track time, to be fair, but good job.
And racing also is always different from just free practice. I think today was the 2 real tests, was qualifying and the race. We could see the drivers, few things to improve for tomorrow, but also the teams are keen to adjust their race cars even more.
Ophir Levy's car down there in Parc Fermé at the end of the race, and the drone giving a fantastic shot of a very different lineup on the field here that is usually taken by the Miami Dolphins. Hard Rock Stadium is the spot for the podium here for Ferrari Challenge North America, and our winner of Pirelli Am, Ophir Levy, is with Nina Jade.
Ophir up 6 places in that race. How does it feel, top step?
It's awesome. I mean, usually I'm better at racing than qualifying, so I kind of have to depend on the racecraft, and there's definitely some advantages of starting in the back because, there's mayhem sometimes up front. So it was fantastic. Kept my head down, no mistakes. Got a little lucky, had a couple breaks go my way, but it's my first P1. I thought I had one coming in Sonoma. I was in P1, but mechanical took me out, so very happy to get this win.
And at Miami, it's Ferrari racing days. You're in front of fans and clients. What does this win mean for you personally?
Oh, I mean, it's fantastic. Actually, one of my right-hand guys is here today, and he hasn't seen me race before, so it's phenomenal to be able to win in front of fans, actually have some in the stands today.
Well, congratulations again.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Brilliant then, a first win for Ophir Levy here in Miami. What a performance by him. Over the moon with it. Mascaro will be pleased. to, I'm sure. We got a shake of the head and a puff out of the cheeks. I think Mascaro's pleased still to be there. Confirmation of your results then for Trofeo Pirelli. Manny Franco wins by 1.7 seconds from Johnny Kaminsky and Roberto Perina. Then it's Brian Cook. Massimo Perina holds fifth after the contact early in the race. Tony Davis and Ethan McWilliams. Ophir Levy, the winner, as you saw, of Pirelli Am. Then Dave Musial Jr. P2 in Pirelli Am. Sebastian Mascaro. P3 was Benoit Bergeron. Jay Logan, Matthew Dill, Dave Musial heading down. And there's the big news. Brad Favre at the bottom there, the pole sitter. He went out after contact in turn one. Dylan Medler, the championship leader, he went out after contact in turn one. So a lot going on for a Pirelli race, and we've got a Copper Shell race to come later on today, so I'm sure we're going to see more exciting racing from Miami International Autodrome. There it is. Cable cars. See, I can't help but associate cable cars. They're a great way of getting the fans in and out. I can't help associating them with ski resorts and skiing.
Yeah, the thing I was just thinking, who goes skiing in Miami?
Yeah, and yet we were at an ice hockey game last night, weren't we?
True.
Yeah, we were mopping the brow after a hot few 30 minutes work. Of course, sitting in the car prior to that, you saw Johnny Kaminsky strolling in the background just a moment ago. Everyone buzzing down in Parc Fermé. Let's take a look at the standings for Pirelli Am. Yes, it is. So it's Brad Favre ahead of Dave Musial. Let me check where they were before. And Sebastian Mascaro. So they're in the same positions as before, though, of course, the gaps will have changed. So Brad Favre continuing to lead according to this, even despite the problems in the race. So had the pole and ended up retiring, if I remember correctly. I'm looking at, yes, did. I'm looking at the timing screen. So there we are. Incredible backdrop here. That's the remains of the Formula One stands being taken down and away with just a fortnight after that incredible race at this brilliant venue. The glamour of Miami for a bit of motorsport. Pirelli standings after this last race. Dylan Medler 136 to 132. Those, yeah, I don't think that's right, I'm afraid. I think Medler's further down than that. Kaminsky P3. So, bit of carnage there out on track, Tony.
Yeah, we had the doubt for the start, so we got the first contacts going into turn one. We had the first full course yellow that then turns into safety car, and also a big drama for the race lead in Pirelli where Massimo Perina and Dylan Medler had the contact, fighting for P1, going again into turn one. So a little bit of drama. We were building up the drama as well, saying that at one point of the season, most likely elbows will go out a bit, and we had it already today. So, and then great fight between Johnny Kaminsky and Manny Franco for the win of the race. Also, Roberto Berina was there in the mix, and Brian Cook got good lap times towards the end of the race. So, great drive from our Pirelli and Pirelli Am drivers.
Yeah, good stuff. What a show. They're going to do it all again tomorrow, but of course, don't forget you can join us later on today for the Copper Shell race at 16:45. That's 4:45 p.m. local time here. That's Eastern time for Miami in Florida. Those are your two winners. You just looked at the red and yellow Ferrari of Manny Franco. Now you're looking at Ophir Levy's machine. Some great racing. Thanks to Nina J. Paul and Tony Villanda. My name is Andrew Coley, and we will see you guys later on today for Copper Shell.